Good evening, Astros fans. We are back with another episode of Juicebox Heroes. We're the two-man Juicebox Heroes. I want to thank everybody that's listening right now on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And also want to give a big thanks to anybody who's listening in the future on Spotify. I'm one of your hosts, Homer Chris. I got my guy, Browse. Browse, how's your week going, man?
It's been good. Only thing I can complain about is Tuesday's rain. Unfortunately, that rained out the first Little League practice, which I know that both of us were looking forward to. But hey, it is what it is. It's what you get when you live in the South Houston area. So anyway, other than that, yeah, it's been great. We got a little bit of the cold weather in the mornings. It starts to warm up in the afternoon, and we've had some sunshine the last couple of days. So anyway, it's been great, and I think we got a good looking weekend coming up. So anyway, how are you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. I mean, like I said, we actually got a good batting practice in last night. That's when, yeah, actually, that'll be a pretty good segue into the first portion of tonight's show. That's when during batting practice, you pulled me aside and you're like, "Hey, Frommer just signed with the Tigers." So I guess we'll just go
Yep.
right into it. So whatever small hope of faith any Astros fans might have had after Dana Brown made his comments about wanting to bring back Fromber. The Tigers said, "Cool story. I'm going to squash that hopes and dreams." They go out and they sign Fromber Valdez to a 3-year, $115 million deal for a average of $38 million a year. So, Browse, I know you seem pretty shocked when you told me about it. I was pretty surprised by it. I really thought that Fromber was probably going to get a 1-year prove it deal. Um, but yeah, man, what were your first um, thoughts as you were trying to dodge missiles being hit back to you?
You're not kidding with missiles being hit to me. Almost got hit in batting practice like 10 times last night. Anyway, yeah, the very first thing that I thought about was a conversation I had with my buddy John actually on my way back to work. And we were talking about Fromber, and he goes, "What is going to happen with him?" And I said, just because of all the stuff that was going on with the cross up between him and Cesar Salazar, with the fact that he's been known as kind of a head case, over the last couple of years, like he just, once he gets out of his rhythm, that I was like, I honestly, I thought he burned himself, and I didn't think he was going to even sign until maybe mid-spring training. But so that was shocking, to be completely honest with you. The second thing, from the last episode when we had Luke on from Sleeper Astros, he asked me the same question. He goes, because we were talking about like the rumor out there that, we could possibly get Fromber on, a sweetheart deal, maybe a 1-year deal, or, a couple years with opt-outs after every year, the Scott Boras special. And anyway, it didn't happen like that. But he goes, "Hey, would you want Fromber back on the team if we could get him in one of those, deals where he's got opt-outs or it's only 1 year?" And I flat out said no. We saw what happened to Fromber in the second half of the season. He had a 5.7 ERA. He went 3-10, and he just did not have it. It's the guy, for whatever reason, I don't know what he's going to be able to do to fix it. When he gets in a slump, and we're talking about a pitching slump, he gets in it really, really bad. So I originally said, that I couldn't believe that the Tigers signed him, especially for that amount of money. Then I started to think about it. So for the Astros, we've always seen Fromber as a number 2. No matter who our number 1 was, he's always been our number 2, and he fit into that role pretty well. And then I started thinking about as well, but who's the catcher that was always calming him down time? And it was Maldonado for the most part. So with no Maldonado, and then from what he did in the second half of last season, I think the Tigers have overpaid on this. I know that they've got Skubal, and a Skubal Fromber Valdez combo sounds like an awesome 1-2 punch. And don't get me wrong, if Fromber is on and he's got everything rolling that he needs to have, maybe AJ Hinch can fix him. I don't know. But the case being of where we are right now, I think that Skubal and Fromber Valdez may or may not be the best 1-2 punch that everybody thinks they are. One, because Scooble's already mad that the Tigers didn't even come paying him what he's worth before they went to ARB. And then two, like I said, Fromber just kind of with the issues that he's got coming in. Keep an eye on that. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. In fact, I think they are going to be good, but things can go south in a hurry. So anyway, Chris, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be a let's crap on Framber Valdez. I mean, because like I really do think that if we did not have Framber Valdez in that rotation in 2022, we probably don't win that World Series. And I know I said that with
Totally
Ryan
agree.
Presley, but like I feel like you had, as far as on the pitching side, Framber played a vital role in that World Series. So but I will say, continuing for after, pretty much, it seems like everything these days is now, what have you done for me lately? Right. So, and you look at how bad Fromber struggled in the playoffs in 2023, especially against the Rangers. The Rangers lit him up. And then, then the struggles he had, because he pitched game one or game two against the Tigers in that quick 2 game that we got booted out of the playoffs last year or the year before, which I think he got tagged for, I think 4 runs in 6 innings. But yeah, I mean, like, I mean, you pretty much said it. That whole second half of this last season, I mean, it was rough. I mean, it was really, really rough. I mean, uh, it was like everything that you like hoped and prayed would not happen. As far as, I mean, you already had everything going against you with the all the injuries, and you had Frommer just completely fall off the edge. I mean, so again, I mean, as much as like we could sit here and I know that that was a Dana Brown thing. Look at the back of the baseball card. I mean, the back of the baseball card, shows that he was a fantastic pitcher. But I think because we saw him day in and day out and have the meltdowns, then we had the issue was basically the icing on the cake, or you could say the straw that broke the camel's back with the whole issue with Cesar Salazar. But I agree with you. I think 38 million is a massive overpay. I mean, I would have probably seen maybe 25 on a 1 year prove it deal and kind of see if he could, like I said, keep his emotions in check. But I mean, like I said, I'm trying to figure out where Detroit has all this money because you were talking about Scooble. He won his arbitration case, so he's got 32 million in him. So your top two pitchers, you're paying 64 million dollars, or you're paying. They're pretty much costing them a Kyle Tucker if you're the Dodgers. So again, I don't want to crap on Valdez. I mean, he was an instrumental part of the, and I would say more of kind of like the second half of this run that the Astros have been on over the last 10 years. And like I said, he was probably one of the main key components of the reason why uh, we as fans and the Astros have that 2022 World Series ring. I mean, so the relationship was great. The breakup was rough. I mean, but like, I'm not going to discount what he did during the good times. So, again, I'm glad the Astros didn't, give him some crazy 1 year, 25, 26, $27 million deal. I mean, I don't know how you can pay that to a guy when you don't really you haven't announced your backup catcher yet. So I'm kind of glad, Detroit. I mean, Frommer, best of luck in Detroit. We'll see how that works out.
I mean, I do think the one thing he's got going for him is AJ Hinch, and I think AJ Hinch knows how to deal with Fromber because he had him as he was coming up, from the minor leagues. So that's definitely going to help. But the other thing, like I said, that I thought about, and I was like, yeah, well, this might work out because of this, and it's I think literally just because he's going to be the number two there. I think, but he's getting paid number one money, so yeah, it's an overpay any way you look at it. To be honest with you.
No, I agree. I mean, and I mean, I was never a big fan of bringing him back. I mean, even if you take away the whole crazy thing with Cesar Salazar, I mean, because like I think the Astros have basically overcompensated, not in a bad way, but they overcompensated the starting pitching because they had so many injuries last year, the year before, and the year before that with starting pitching. I think if you were to bring back Fromber, that's going to take away time that that you're going to see maybe Ryan Weiss. And one of the kids that I'm looking forward to seeing the most, which I think is going to be the steal of the offseason, is going to be this Mike Burrows kid. I think I really want to see what he can do once the Astros get him into the lab. I mean, again, my ceiling for him is maybe not Garrett Cole, but I think he could be close to a Garrett Cole to where, I mean, yes, he did cost you Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito, but I feel like he could be, like, in my opinion, we may look back in 2 years and say, man, we had the steal of this offseason making that trade for Mike Burrows. So, again, like I said, man, Fromber, it is what it is. Thank you for everything you did in 2022. But you know, have fun in Detroit. I guess we'll see how that goes. But yeah. So now, I mean, now that that Fromber potential, 2 day, reunion is officially dead, I guess now the Astros are back to the drawing board with, what are we gonna do with the trying to get another left-handed bat? Um, I'm trying to think. Suarez just got signed. Seattle
Yep.
just traded for Donovan, Brendan Donovan. So I mean, like right now, I mean, if you're Boston, just did sign an infielder. I think he's more of a platoon guy in
They signed IKF.
Kiner Falefa. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's definitely. I mean, he was a starter for I think the Pirates last year. So that's kind of shows you where he's at in his career. I definitely see him more as a platoon. So I don't know, man. Like maybe this Boston Astros saga trade that I'm just like kind of like tired of like hearing about. Maybe something gets done, maybe it doesn't. I mean, I'm kind of at the point right now where I'm just like, screw it. Bring Paredes, bring Walker to spring training. Let it ride. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Bryce Matthews can do with his reps in center field, and let's just be done with it, man. I mean, I don't think we're going to get the Duran for Paredes 1-for-1. So if we're not going to get that, I mean, then why don't we just move on and roll with what we have? Um, and like I said, see what we got, man. Let's see what we have. But I mean, we were talking before we came on live tonight. You were looking at pulling up some left-handed bats that are still available free agent wise. What do you got? Because I remember I can't remember what you told me, or I can't remember all the names
Well,
that you told me. So
I focused mainly on the outfield, obviously, because our infield stacked. I don't think
yeah,
anybody's going anywhere there. We're not signing anybody for the infield. It's going to be a depth piece that's going on the bench, and quite frankly, what we've got in the minors, and everybody, all these guys that have potential to come up. I don't think that makes any sense. So anyway, like I said, I focused on outfielders. If we're going to do a left-handed bat, what we're looking at was Max Kepler, and you talked about Max Kepler. He's going to get suspended, so I don't think anybody's going to sign him. But as far as like talent-wise is concerned, he was the top left-handed outfield bat, and this is all according to Sport Track. So the other two that really caught both of our attention for me was Michael Conforto, who his market value is supposed to be around $6 million. And then for you was Jesse
mm,
Winker, who's also a left-handed bat, and I'm telling you, his market value is only 5.5. Now we could definitely use both those guys if we need to go shopping, kind of more in the bargain bin section for a left-handed outfielder. Mike Talkman is still out. He's supposed to command somewhere around $1 million, and then you're also looking at Adam Frazier, who's about the same, about 2 to 2.5. So, I don't see that we baseman. So I don't know why he's on that list. But anyway,
mm.
I do definitely see that Talkman could be a possibility from a lower end. I like Conforto. I think he's a great outfielder. He's a left-handed bat. That would be super helpful. And Chris, I know you like Jesse Winker, so tell me what you like about Jesse.
Well, I mean, like now that like you were talking about maybe the Astros shop on the bargain bin. I think Conforto is a bargain bin kind of guy. I mean, he's a guy that, signed with the Dodgers. He didn't hit very well. I think he hit like 205. Like I said, I don't have a stats pulled up, but I know it wasn't fantastic. I mean, so he's definitely one of those guys that you can bring in maybe on a $4 million deal on a prove it kind of thing. Jesse Winker, I know that he kind of had like a bounce back year, not this past season, but the year before. But then I want to say the last time I kind of brushed back up on his stats, he was hitting like 230. Um, and again, right now, like I'm almost at the point with these with the outfitters that are available that like how much. I mean, like so if you go and you get Conforto, right? How much more of of an upgrade production wise that you're going to get over someone like Cam Smith. So, and if you're asking me, unless Cam Smith is showing you like he needs some reps down in Sugarland, I mean, you might as well give those major league at bats to Cam Smith over Michael Conforto or Jesse Winker. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, like at this point, again, we're what, a week away from pitchers and catchers reporting. So
Yeah, let's.
just show me what the spring training gear is going to be, so I know how much money I'm going to spend on March 10th, and let's roll. That's kind of where I'm at. So, Browse looks like he's a little frozen up. Okay, so now
Yeah,
let's
we.
go ahead and we'll
Oh, sorry,
go
guys.
ahead. Go ahead. I thought you had froze up for a second. Go ahead.
The only thing, if we do want to
Okay.
hit the, I said the bargain bin. If you want to hit the clearance aisle, even after that, we've got Alex Verdugo still out there, and I know the Astros have kicked the tires on him in the past, so that could be a possibility. I
Yeah.
don't listen. I don't necessarily want to see him, but if you put him on a minor league deal, I'm not going to complain about it. You
Yeah, I
know
was
what I
going to
mean?
say, yeah, that's the guy that you signed to a minor league deal and invite him to camp. You know, he's like your Taylor Trammell, depth in AAA. So, but all right, let's go ahead and pivot because, so like I said, the title of this episode is our Dana Brown performance review. And I brought this up because honestly, man, like I know we've talked about this a handful of times. I mean, but like really, like I've been seeing a lot more of the Dana Brown hate once the Mariners made that deal for Brandon Donovan. So, I went out on multiple social media platforms and let people know, hey, we're going to talk about Dana Brown on Thursday. What do you guys think? Has he done a great job? Has he done a crappy job? I mean, if you read some of these reports, you would have thought that he traded everybody for you know a bunch of people selling hot dogs in the concession stands. But there was one reply, and it was a long reply. I believe it was. I want to double check because I don't want to make sure I give credit to the right guy. His name was Michael Dunn. Dude, his reply was like basically like if I would have typed in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because I agree with his opinion. Um, but like it's one of the few like if you're gonna comment, like don't just say Dana Brown sucks. And I'm not saying that's not what he said. He said that basically Dana Brown has done a great job so far. But he went into explanation. So it's like, man, and then he was like, hey, I'm sorry this went longer than what I thought. I'm like, dude, absolutely. The more comments like that, the better. Michael Dunn, you're officially invited to comment on anything that we post, whether it's good or negative, whether you agree or disagree with what we say. So moving on from that, so I went ahead and I pulled up the majority of the moves that Dana Brown has made since he's been the general manager of the Houston Astros. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one, right? But I'm talking about the major ones, the ones that, broke people's hearts, supposedly, the moves that were, why are we signing this guy? To the moves that he's made last offseason and the moves that he's made for this offseason. So we'll start with, I call this the Michael Bryles and PK. I didn't even say PK's. Obviously, he's not with us tonight. He's doing work stuff out in Port Arthur. So hopefully his car doesn't get broken into. So, but the big trade that he made at the deadline in the 2024 season, which man, you want to talk about divided the city. Well, maybe it was like more of like 75% of the people hated
Yeah.
it. 25% of us understood it. And that was the trade for Yusei Kikuchi, which we sent Jake Bloss, Joey Loperfido, and Will Wagner. Now, a lot of people lost their minds, including PK and Browse, lost their minds. Thought that it was an overpay. Thought that Click just totally took Dana Brown to the woodshed. But now that we've had some time to marinate on it, right? Let's be real. Like, let's be honest. If you don't make that trade for Kikuchi, you don't make the playoffs. Bottom line. Kikuchi, as far as from a pitcher standpoint, from a trade deadline, aspect, he gave you his best of a season or as best of a, I guess, half season, quarter season, whatever you want to call it, from a pitcher since 1998 when we traded for Randy Johnson. I mean, he was that
Yep.
dominant. I mean, the only negatives I could say about that trade is the fact that one, you didn't use him in the playoffs. So that was a big negative. And two, for some reason, we didn't bring him back. Maybe it's because Anaheim, Los Angeles, whatever they call themselves now, gave him the third year. And maybe we didn't want to do the third year, but outside of that, I mean, if we check back up on the three guys we sent to Toronto, Loperfito's been up and down, hasn't been able to stay. He's had a couple of decent games, but again, his strikeout rate is why he's still in the minors. Jake Bloss has come up. Maybe I think he's made one or two, maybe spot starts. And then you have Will Wagner, who's not even on Toronto anymore. Last time I checked, he was claimed off waivers by the Braves. I couldn't even tell you if he's still on the Braves, to be honest with you. So with that type of that trade, I'm sorry, I'm going to give the W to Dana Brown on that. And if anybody wants to comment their grades on if they agree, disagree right now, by all means, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I promise you. So, Brawls, I think can we all agree between you and I that the Kikuchi trade, now that we can look back, was a W for the Astros?
Okay, the fact that we made the playoffs. No, I know. The fact that we made the playoffs, that part was a win. I'm going to give this like a C- win. And the only reason I say that is because Kikuchi's not on the team anymore. If don't get me wrong, if he was still in our rotation, this would be an A+ win. But he's not in the rotation anymore. And then the fact that those three guys, technically, we probably could have used last year, in all the injuries. But to your point, Loperfido was up and down. Wagner got traded away, and then Bloss was up and down. So it's not like these guys went to Toronto and just started balling out. That's not what happened. But when they were in the Astros uniform, there was big hype around all three of those guys, and especially Loperfido. Everybody wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. PK wanted to see it. A lot of the Astros fans wanted to see him too. Heck, they were selling his jerseys already in the stadium.
I get you,
me at one of the games.
I get you. Like I remember when I told Benjamin we traded Loperfido. He literally cried. Like I had to tell him, like, dude, I get it. I mean, it was just more of like the perfect timing for him. He caught wind. Like I said, he had his Linsanity for a couple weeks. The Astros baseball version of that.
Man.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, yes, would we have probably seen him this past season? Yeah. I mean, would he have been able to recapture that fire? I don't know. I mean, all I know is that
not necessarily.
All I can say is that those three guys that we traded are contributing very, 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 very bare minimum, if you even want to call it that, to that Toronto Blue Jays team. So when I look at the contribution that was made on each side, that's why I give the win to the Astros on that trade. And I give the win to Dana Brown for making that trade. And that's kind of where I stand. So, all right, we'll move on. So we have two big moves that were made last offseason. You had the Christian Walker sign. And now this one, again, we've only had 1 year of Christian Walker. He did get off to a slow start, and maybe there is a bunch of intangibles that go along with signing with the new team, playing around a new city, having to get acclimated with new players. But because I watched y'all's episode, because I obviously I was not on last Sunday's episode. He did start to come alive the second half of the season. So for Christian Walker, I'm willing to give this one an incomplete. We'll see.
I'm a little bit more bullish on this one, just because of the way he was able to turn it around in the second half. And I really hope that he's able to build on what happened from last season. Now, we've all talked about dangling him out there in a trade or something like that. So that kind of puts a little bit of a negative mark on it. I know you've got it incomplete. Currently, I kind of got to agree with you, because it was pretty bad that first half. It got better in the second half. A lot of people were just so burnt, like we said, from the Abreu debacle, that they wanted Christian Walker to be the man. And unfortunately, he just wasn't that dude last year. He had an above average year altogether, a slightly above average year, but everybody was to come in and be the savior at first base, and it just didn't turn out that way. So we'll see what happens with him. I'm not going to say it was a terrible signing. I think on paper, when you were looking at all the free agents available, and the fact that he was a very coveted first baseman in the free agent market last year, that was a really good signing. It just didn't quite work out the way that we thought it did or would.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I definitely think that it's an incomplete with potential arrows moving up. So, all right. So the other big move of the other big move of last offseason was obviously the Kyle Tucker trade to the Cubs, where you traded Kyle Tucker for Isak Paredes, Caden Wisniewski, and Cam Smith. Now, again, after knowing that Kyle Tucker left the Cubs and went to the Dodgers, to me, right then and there, that was another win for the Astros. Why? And I'll tell you why. My main thing is because one, I got tired of seeing these superstars of ours. And I understand, man, it's baseball's a business, but I got tired of seeing these guys walk for nothing. So the fact that Dana Brown was like, listen, we know we're not going to re-sign Kyle Tucker. Let's trade him. Let's get three players that we're not sitting here talking about, man, I can't wait to see what Cam Smith is in 7 years because he's in single A. I mean, these are all three guys that were on your 25-man roster last season. Now, granted, Wisniewski got hurt. Cam Smith has an uber amount of potential. And I mean, we're talking about Isak Paredes, like if he doesn't get hurt with the calf injury, I mean, he probably would have put up 25 to 30 home runs last season. So, again, my opinion, a W for Dana Brown on this trade.
Yeah, I'm going a big W on this one. I mean, you got three starters for 1 year of Kyle Tucker. And if everybody remembers what Kyle Tucker did last year in Chicago, he was hurt for half the season. And then he played hurt for a very long time as well. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, his numbers weren't terrible by any means, but he didn't look good. He looked uncomfortable in Chicago, to be honest with you, towards the end of the season. And, I was shocked when the Dodgers came out and gave him the amount of money that they did. Now, we could get into that contract, but that's not why we're here. The point being, though, is that, yes, he was a beloved Houston player, obviously the brother of a former Houston player, too. So, he was in our family more or less. And then, we had to trade him away. I'd rather trade him away for 1 year and get what we got. And now we've got three starters, potential starters at least. Cam Smith started the season last year. Paredes was out there last year, and Wisniewski was out there last year. So, having that kind of talent to give up one injury-riddled year of Kyle Tucker, I think that was the greatest move he's made so far.
I agree. Not to mention, because like I said, I mean, we could talk about this for probably another 45 minutes, and I'm trying to keep this as going over 30 minutes as little as possible. So I mean, look at another deal. He made the Verlander trade with the Mets, where he traded Drew Gilbert, Ryan Clifford. I think Drew Gilbert has tasted a little bit of major leagues, and then he got traded to the Giants. I mean, so. And Ryan Clifford still hasn't made the I don't think he's made the major league roster yet. So I want to say that's a W too. I mean, because just bringing
Yep.
back JV, not to mention he had the Josh Hader sign in, which the first year was a little shaky, but last year up until he got hurt, I mean, he looked every bit of worth the $20 million they were paying him. You have the Altuve extension, you have the Christian Javier extension. So I mean, I'm trying to and then you have all the moves that were made this year as far as bolstering the pitching. I don't want to give him all the credit for the Emai signing. I'm sure that, changing the stadium name to Daikin Park probably played a huge role in that. But I think the trade for Burrows is going to be another one that we look back and like we talked about earlier in the episode where we're going to be like, man, dude, we fleeced the Pirates again. So and again, I'm not trying to be Homer Chris, but I think Dana Brown, if I were to give him a grade, I think I would give him a good solid B plus. Now I understand the frustration where people are like, oh, well, look at what Seattle, Seattle got Brandon Donovan. Yeah, Seattle gave up a bunch of pretty good prospects, which unfortunately, guys,
Two
we don't
studs.
have. We don't have this plethora of stud prospects. And even though I know that that Browse knows, that PK knows, that everybody that's watching knows that we don't need top 100 prospects. Our guys we call up, they contribute. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, even all the way down to Taylor Trammell, he contributed. I mean, so it's just unfortunately, when you're making trades where you're training guys that are, I don't want to call him a cornerstone, but he was basically one of their few all-stars. They're going to go with the sexy prospect rankings, and that's what they're going to go with, unfortunately. So, again, so you got a handful of prospects that Dana Brown has traded. Let's see. And I don't see one of these prospects. I mean, it's the jury's going to still be out on Anderson Brito and Jacob Melton, but all the other prospects he's traded. I mean, they've. I mean, two of them's already been either traded or signed with other teams. So it's not like the trades that he's made, he's completely drained down our farm system. Um, I mean, yeah, it's a little frustrating to see some of these other teams make trades. I mean, but again, I'd rather Dana Brown not make a trade just to make a trade and have him say, no, I'm not going to give you Paredes for peanuts just because I feel like I need to make a trade. So if there's not a trade that makes sense, don't make the trade. Um, don't trade Paredes to the Pirates for a bunch of AA players that aren't going to help us for another 4 years. You go get you a left-handed outfielder, a good left-handed outfielder that you can control for a couple more years, or don't make the trade at all. That's kind of where I'm at. So I give Dana Brown a solid B plus with the potential to an A minus if Christian Walker turns it around this season. And that's my final Dana Brown grade. Stop giving the man so much hate. Browse, what is your grade?
I'm going to take off the rose-colored Astros glasses here
I like it. Okay.
and be honest about it. And I admit I'm one of the first guys that will be critical when we're making moves and trades and stuff like that. Just like I was with the Kikuchi trade, I was wrong. I was wrong about a lot of them. I did definitely question the offseason trade where he shipped Melton off to the Pirates because not only was he projected to be in our outfield possibly to start the season, but he was at least going to be a big contributor over the 2026 season. So Burrows, to be honest with you, I don't know that much about him. I've seen the highlight films just like everybody else, but that's still to be determined on what happens with him. So, but the ones that you've talked about, especially the extensions that we've had for some of our key players, and just some of the trades that he's made, I can't complain. I'm going to go one step above Chris and give him at least an A minus because
that's what I'm talking about.
There has not been one trade or one signing or one extension out there that I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing? There have been no Jose Abreu's. There have been no Rafael Montero deals since he's shown up. So I want to remind everybody out there, when you want to give Dana Brown a hard time, go look at some Jeff Bagwell signings and then think again about what you're actually talking about. Okay. So some of those were pretty rough. And when we had that stint where we had no GM and we had the committee, and yes, you can go back to our old episodes and take a look at that when we talked about the committee. Anyway, it was really bad. Now that we've got Dana Brown, at least we're getting, some of these transactions that make sense, that are panning out for us and, look really good. Everybody threw their arms up like, oh my God, how can you trade Kyle Tucker? Guess what, guys? That one worked out, and it worked out really well. And just like the Kikuchi one, like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but at the long run, it got us to the playoffs, just like Chris said. So look at it right now. And then don't be critical right away. Think about it, wait until it plays out, and then make your decision after that. But in my opinion, Dana Brown's been a good thing for this organization.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about the Jason Alexander signing either. I mean, that was like, you want to talk about icing on the cake.
That was
like, where did this guy come from? So, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's easy to crap on Dana Brown because he, some of these other teams are forking over stupid money. Again, Dana Brown can only play in the sandbox that Jim Crane, as far as money, lets him play in. And if Jim Crane says, listen, we're not going to go over to the CBT this third year. So do what you got to do. Here's your number. That Jim Crane is Dana Brown's boss. And I'm pretty sure if everybody that's listening here, if their boss says, hey, here's your number, don't go above it, 100% would be like, roger that. Yes, sir. I will stay within budget. And that's, that's pretty much what he has to do. I mean, so like I said, I think he's done a great job. But yeah, man, if we don't have anything else, I mean, that's pretty much going to wrap us up tonight. Like I said, man, I wanted to, we can always get into these other moves that we made into a lot more intense detail. But otherwise, we'd be on here for like an hour and a half, and then I'm going to get yelled at for being on here for so long. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Again, thank you for listening on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Again, for you guys listening in the future on Spotify, thank you again, guys. Everyone, thank you for joining us live tonight. Anytime you want to interact with us, hit us up. We're on all the social media platforms. And big game this weekend. I don't know if we're going to have an episode this weekend, mainly because we have batting practice on Sunday, and then we got the Super Bowl. And let's be honest, I don't think if we went on, anybody would listen. So, again, everybody have a fantastic weekend. If we get on, we'll let you know. And again, we are the Juice Box Heroes, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Welcome.
I strung it out for extra dramatic effect. Do you think it worked?
I like it.